Chapter 1. The $180 billion mystery. This gold company says it made $180 billion. Its chairman pays himself $180 a month. And somewhere between those two numbers, 100 million retirees' savings are on the line. That's not a typo. It's the smallest, strangest clue in one of the biggest financial mysteries in the world right now. The chairman's name is Rajesh Mehta. His company, Rajesh Exports, owns Valcambi, the largest gold refinery on Earth. A facility so significant, it processes bullion for central banks and major financial institutions worldwide. For a decade, this company looked like one of India's great global success stories. Today, regulators say it may be one of the largest revenue fabrications ever uncovered. And somewhere in the middle of it all, $40 million left the company and landed in Mehta's personal bank account. We're going to follow the money, all the way to the number nobody can explain. Chapter 2. The perfect front. A refinery you'd actually trust. Here's what's real, because this part isn't in dispute. Valcambi is legitimate, audited, respected.
State-run Life Insurance Corporation of India, which manages the retirement savings of well over 100 million people, kept increasing its stake in Rajesh Exports for 10 straight years,
eventually holding close to 11% of the company. To LIC, and to the millions of policyholders whose money it manages, this looked like a safe bet. Nobody thought to question what was happening one level above the refinery itself. Here's the part worth sitting with, wherever you're watching this from. LIC isn't a hedge fund, it isn't a group of professional traders chasing a risky bet. It functions closer to a pension fund, the kind of institution holding savings for school teachers,
Ordinary families who trusted their money was being managed carefully. And LIC wasn't just an investor here, it was nearly alone in staying one.
privately managed mutual funds, whose entire job is spotting red flags, had quietly exited Rajesh Exports years earlier. LIC did the opposite. It kept buying, year after year, even as the gap between what Valcambi actually earned and what the company claimed to earn kept widening. By the time SEBI's findings became public, the stock had lost more than 80% of its value.
That's not an abstract line on a balance sheet. That's real money. No idea any of this was unfolding. One corporate layer above the refinery they thought they understood. Chapter 3. Unraveling the books.
One letter starts it all. In March 2024, a single shareholder wrote a letter to India's markets regulator, SEBI. Not a whistleblower, not a leak.
Just someone looking at the books and noticing something odd. Large sums of money the company claimed it was owed, sitting unpaid, year after year. That kind of stagnant balance is one of the oldest red flags in accounting. It can mean the sale behind it was never fully real to begin with. Chapter 4. The Ghost Company.
SEBI appointed an investigating authority that October. Forensic auditors from BDO India came in that December, and slowly the numbers stopped adding up.
The impossible number. Follow the corporate chain investigators traced. Rajesh Exports in India owns a company in Singapore. That company owns Global Gold Refineries, based in Switzerland. And Global Gold Refineries owns Valcambi, the actual refinery, doing actual work. Valcambi's own audited accounts, signed off by KPMG, show it earning somewhere between $50 and $90 million a year. That's the one number in this entire story nobody disputes. But the total revenue Rajesh Exports reported for the whole group didn't come anywhere close to that, landing on the figure that triggered this whole investigation, roughly $100 billion. Picture a toll booth charging $5 a car. 10,000 cars pass through in a day, and the booth earns $50,000. That's its real revenue.
Now picture that same booth claiming ownership of every car that drives past it, not just the toll. A fleet of luxury cars rolls through the gate.
I run an $800 million company.
Just something close to that happened here. A refinery earning processing fees, sitting beneath a paper company that allegedly claimed the entire value of the gold as its own. The company at the top of that paper structure, refineries, has 0 employees, no factory, no independently audited books of its own.
Chapter 5. The Chairman's Secret Account. Back to the man with the $180 salary. So who runs a structure like that? This is where Mehta stops being a name in a filing and becomes the center of the story.
Investigators found that Rajesh Exports had recorded roughly $1.4 billion in trades. When SEBI contacted the broker directly, the answer was blunt. Rajesh Exports was never their client.
Traded company, and into that personal account, no board approval, no disclosure, just money leaving a company its shareholders trusted and arriving in the hands of the one man running it. The real client was Mehta himself, trading gold derivatives in his own personal account. And that's when the $40 million comes in. 80 a month salary makes a strange kind of sense, not because it's explained, it isn't, but because it fits a pattern investigators say they found everywhere they looked. A company whose official numbers, top to bottom, don't match what was actually happening underneath them. His own chief financial officer had reportedly drawn no salary at all since 2020. And when officers physically inspected the company's gold reserves against what its own ledgers claimed should be sitting in storage, the gold on the shelves came up short. One man, officially earning less than a minimum wage worker, sitting at the top of a company claiming $180 billion of that company's actual cash, moved quietly into his own name. Chapter 6. The Fallout. That's not a technical accounting dispute. That's a story about a person, still unresolved. To be fair, this is currently an interim order, not a final ruling.
Rajesh Exports has firmly denied wrongdoing, calling the findings a plex international accounting standards. Mehta and the company have been temp securities, but nothing has been legally proven yet. Still, the fallout is real. The stock has collapsed, lenders have flagged the company's debt as distressed, and a very uncomfortable question is now sitting in front of LIC and every policyholder behind it.
How did a state-run insurer keep buying into this company for 10 years, while these warning signs sat right there in the numbers? What still doesn't add up? Valcambi sits inside the global gold supply chain that touches central banks, jewelry brands, and investment funds in dozens of countries, including yours. Every bar it refines carries its stamp, trusted by institutions that never once had to ask where the gold came from. That trust is the entire business model. And it's exactly what led a paper company, 2 numbers, 1 man, $180 billion, allegedly coming in. Somewhere between those 2 figures sits $40 million that moved into his personal account and $100 million retirees' savings that moved into his company. Investigators are still digging through bank records and contracts across 3 countries to close that gap. Until they do, the real number in this story isn't most countries' entire economies. Subscribe. Because when investigators finally close that gap, you'll want to be watching.